Hey guys, it's Kylie, and I just wanted to jump on this YouTube to talk about something that people haven't talked about on the internet, at least that I've seen. So, in a lot of mental institutions, or not mental institutions, hospitals, um, there's not a whole lot of protocols for women with autism. So, if you go there, you get the standard run of the mill treatment that everybody else gets. You get the coping skills, you get the groups, you get the meds, but they don't know how to handle. I was once told at a hospital they do not know how to handle autistic women, and so if I had a meltdown, they would just, have to give me meds and that would be it. They did tell me they didn't have any therapies that would really change anything or help. So I felt like it was a revolving door, and I just wanted to talk about how when it's a revolving door like that, it's very hard to feel lifted up at a hospital. And it's very hard dealing with suicidal ideation because of all that, because they don't have the protocols. Because women with autism is getting the spotlight now because it's been studied in the past, but it hasn't been widely studied. So protocols are taking longer to put in place at certain hospitals because they are not used to late diagnosed autistics and kids who haven't been through ABA. I never went through ABA myself, and so it's been really hard to face that when dealing with my mental health. And I just wanted to let everybody know, like, you're not alone, and it can be very difficult to try and make sense of all that and things like that. And so, a lot of times, I wanted to bring up the fact that sometimes people refuse treatment simply because treatment does not work. It's not because I want to be defiant or combative or make anybody's job harder. It's that I've been told that the protocols just aren't in place for me to be somewhat safe in hospitals. And so that's a problem for me, and I'm sure a problem for a lot of other people. A lot of people think when you have suicidal ideation that it's just simply, you go to a hospital, you get help, they give you meds, and then they send you home, and then you're better. And that's not always true because in a lot of instances, it's basically you get taught the same run of the mill coping skills over and over. I've been to the hospital here in town so many times and learned the same things, over and over, but it's very difficult to try to to heal myself. And so I have to make peace with my thoughts, and I have to try to focus the best I can. And sometimes I get a lot of fatigue trying to heal that ideation and trying to fix myself and feel good for myself. That's why a lot of times there's times I don't post because I get really fatigued and really tired and things like that. And I have cerebral palsy too, so I also have that barrier of when I go into the hospital, I have to think, okay, they're overworked, they're understaffed, but I need accommodations. And hospitals nowadays make it to where they can't touch you if you're voluntary. They cannot touch you, they cannot shove pills in your throat. If you fall over and crack your head open, they cannot catch you. And that is the worst feeling in the entire world because I have been put in medical grade wheelchairs before that are too big for my body size and then I have to wheel myself, or I have to be confined to that because they don't want me to fall because they cannot give me the proper medical attention. I'm not saying every hospital is like this, but the hospitals that I have been to are like this. And nobody talks about the struggle about when you have a physical disability as well as a developmental disability, and then you have mood disorders. Because a lot of hospitals can't take care of all your needs at once, and that is why a lot of people opt out of treatment. And so I just wanted to bring awareness to that. This is a video about how having disabilities like autism and cerebral palsy can prevent people from getting mental help, because if they're not able to be safe in a hospital because the right protocols are not in place, then they cannot get the help that they need. And so when people are like, you're just refusing help, you're just refusing the meds, you're just refusing this, I'm the type of person that I will go voluntarily and I will say, hey, I need this help, but I also have to be safe in the hospital. I have to have a shower chair, I have to have sometimes a wheelchair, I have to be, very careful so I don't fall. And people look at it from the outside and they're just like, oh, you just don't want help. And I'm like, that's never the case. I have to go with whatever protocols they have in place. And it really sucks when you as a person don't get access to mental health treatment because your disabilities are too complex. And that is such a sad realization and thought to think about, like, how I can't get help, and that leads to suicidal ideation where I get stressed out and I feel so drained and depressed, and I don't feel as wonderful as I portray myself. It's very hard. People don't understand that is a lot of the reason why people who are disabled don't get help, is because they're not treated well in hospitals. I've been very lucky to be treated good, but they can't. But a lot of times they don't have the protocols in place for physical safety. And I just wanted to let somebody know, if you have co-occurring conditions, you're not alone. You're not insane for not accepting the help that is there. You just have to be safe. I'm all about accepting mental health help, but if I can't be safe in a hospital because they don't have the right protocols, then I can't be safe in that hospital and focus on getting the help that I need. Like, I had one instance in a hospital where they wanted me to push a medical grade wheelchair, and I am too small for that, and it was causing more fatigue than needed, so they had to order a power chair, and it took a long time. I was there for weeks before they got it, and then they finally got it, but that impacted how I was able to focus on my treatment. They spent most of the treatment focused on how to deal with my cerebral palsy instead of dealing for the reason that I was actually there, which was my mental health and my manic depressive episodes. And so I feel like if I could have gone knowing that I needed to put something in place beforehand, I would have had a much better experience. And I just am making this video to say, like, if you know someone or love someone that is, wanting mental health help but can't go to a hospital because of this, there could be many reasons why people are refusing treatment. I'm not saying people who don't take their meds are right for refusing treatment, but before you judge somebody for refusing treatment, think about the logistics of the treatment, and there could be more than one thing going on. Most of the time when I have to refuse going to a certain hospital, it's because they're not equipped to take care of me because of my disorders and them being so complex. It's not that I don't want help, it's that there are things that aren't given, and I feel like the spotlight on that hasn't come to light yet, so I wanted to bring that up, so that people understand there could be more than one reason. We need to stand up for the people who have co-occurring conditions instead of, basically demonizing them and saying, okay, you can't come to our hospital because X, Y, or Z. It's one of those things that I wanted to tell anybody who, if you're feeling this way and you're having a really hard time, you're not alone. You are not alone, and I understand you, and I feel you. I understand how you feel, because it's a sucky feeling, and it's very difficult, and that's why a lot of people, who are disabled do commit suicide, is because they think when there's no other option for them, they feel very defeated, and I felt that way, for a long time, and it's very hard. So before you judge somebody, think about it and try to, try to ask them about why they're refusing treatment before you give a lecture. So I just thought I would explain that and make a video for you guys, and thank you very much.